First thing on the agenda is a review and acceptance for Parks and Rec, by the way, sorry. Is a review and acceptance of February 8th, 2023 meeting minutes. I know we got those from Laura. Thank you very much. Everybody's had a chance to review those.
Yes.
Great.
A motion to accept the February 8th, 2023 minutes for Parks and Rec.
Sorry, I thought you were done. Second.
Okay. Any comments? All in favor?
Aye.
All right, second item on the agenda, thank the Clinton Area Little League that's gonna be here today. I think Matt Kobus is going to come up and Matt Barakis. We've been trying to do a scheduling meeting and we thought this was going to be the best avenue as well. So, would like to start with you, Matt. Go ahead.
Well, I'm not really sure. what-
So as far as the scheduling goes, correct? We are looking for schedule of both Vale, Fuller,
and the signed
signed agreement.
yeah.
Okay.
So just before we can schedule everything, just because that's what we're asking from all the groups and individuals.
So I had sent over the Little League schedule for Savage. I didn't schedule anything over here because I know that there's different groups that use it, so until that's finalized, then we could always look for any gaps if we need to make up a game or whatnot. We sent the youth softball schedule we had given.
I don't think I received youth softball, but I received,
Yeah, I sent them both together.
are they together on one
Yeah.
page? Okay. Or one
The
document.
tab, exactly, the
Okay,
tabs.
gotcha.
Call and CYS. And we can, I can fill out the application.
Is that with you or is Rachel gonna send that?
So Rachel wasn't able to get here today,
Okay.
so I just figured I'd send both of them because you technically are still under call. So rather than just have get one, figure I'll just give them both to you.
I think the purpose of the meeting on the 30th is just to go over the agreement, if you guys had any clarifications you need from the board, just because
Yeah, there was something about maintenance.
Yeah, so we do, there was something on there that said that basically the renters wouldn't perform any maintenance, and that's something that we have always done, is just basically like out in the field, we drag it. So I don't know if that was, when I reached out, you already mentioned that we already had an agreement with Brian in place, so that wasn't gonna change it.
We had talked with Brian about that as well, and yes, I mean, after every game, they should absolutely be dragging the field, and Brian has no issue with that at all. So, and then just the equipment is put away here and there. Who's that? Fill in the back.
Yeah, as long as you guys looked over the agreement, everything seems good to you, and
Was there anything on it that was concerning?
No, so we purchase our own bases, and then the other piece was the rental fee, there was discussion about that in the past, we had
Yeah.
an agreement in place.
Yes, so, and we've discussed that as well, is Clinton Town teams, without a doubt, have priority, and we have also never charged Clinton Town teams as well, for Clinton Area Little League. I believe the discussion came up from, as far back as 2019, is that correct?
Yeah, that initial leasing agreement.
19 or 18?
18,
18.
April 9th, 2018.
Okay,
Because I believe they're 3 years, and there's like a year lapse because of COVID.
And the
There was
leasing
a,
agreement was particular to when the snack shack was installed.
yes,
I'm happy to share what I believe the leasing agreement was supposed to be, or the agreement, handshake agreement,
yeah,
and then you
I
guys
have
let
it
me know
in
if it's
black
not
and
what you
white.
thought it was, but yeah, sure, good. I'd be happy to listen to what you have.
right here, there was notes given to me from the previous director that there was a conversation about a donated amount should be $800 to $1,000 per season.
Okay.
it was brought to my attention because it never actually happened. So I was wondering if it ever happened, now that we have a new director, maybe she had found something. But we haven't found anything, so that's why I asked.
Do you know where the donation was supposed to be directed towards in the past meeting notes from 3 years ago?
It was supposed to be to the rec department.
It was supposed to be to the softball program.
Yeah, it was youth softball.
It
That's-
was
that's
because
the
you guys
meeting.
were taking it over.
It was in the meeting
That's
notes.
not correct.
It was
In
the
meeting
last
notes.
year that Emily had it,
That's correct.
and then she left.
Correct. So may I give a summary of what I believe it was?
Could I just ask a question
Sure.
first? Was it in the meeting minutes that you sent, Matt?
It was in the some of the meeting minutes I have sent, yes, it says the
That it was going to
donation to
softball.
The only
Clinton
thing-
youth softball. It was not left up to Parks and
Jody motioned to
Recreation.
waive the electrical fee, for the concession stand, and Joanna seconded it.
And I was on the board at that time as well. So
Yes, I've read all of them, I understand. Mhm.
So, in the meeting minutes, do we have that where the,
They're in there, and I sent them to each one of
I
you.
think it was something, you bought equipment for the softball, is that how you used
No,
it?
it was because softball couldn't have a concession stand, they were going to donate yearly to them for that, because Emily still ran it. But then, in between all that happening, Emily leaving and everything, the softball program now went to Clinton Youth Softball.
That's accurate.
There was a vote on it
Yeah.
in the commission, I'm sure Mr. Kobus can elaborate, because he was on the
Softball
commission to
was
make
run
that
by us.
happen.
Right.
It was ran by us.
it was originally?
It was a successful program.
In the transfer, it wasn't technically transferred. It was Clinton Youth Softball on the Parks and Rec side had to be dissolved because it would have to go through this procurement if we were gonna do that. So basically what it came down to was when Director Carrot had started, basically softball was dissolved. And then we started a new softball program. That's how that went.
Clinton Area Little League Softball, Clinton Youth
Clinton
Softball.
Clinton Area Youth Softball, that's
CYS.
exactly right. That's
And really at the time, what it was is that the board at that time felt it would be in the best interest of the department to have us take it over where we had the facilities already in place for it and free up the current director to spend more time on park and rec stuff versus the softball program itself. So that's why they made that decision at the time. But you're right in what you're referring to with regard to the agreement, but the agreement was this, it was.
I mean, it's
three-
literally
Can I
just,
finish?
oh, sorry, I'm sorry.
It was 3 tiered, you're not wrong. It was 3 tiered. At the time, what happened was we put in the concession stand, and at that time, you guys were running like, Emily was running like a mobile concession stand. They had to like carry coolers and chips and cookies and all this stuff. So she's like, would we have access to the concession stand? And how would we basically work together to make sure that it was equal at that time? So there's 3 things that we talked about. They said, would you staff the concession stand if there was a softball game? We said, absolutely. And anything that we would make during that softball game would go right to the softball program. The second question that was asked was, what happens if the Little League and softball are both playing at the same time? How do we handle that? So we'll staff it and we'll split the money right down the middle, because we're not gonna sit here and like nickel and dime where the money came from, we'll split it. And the third thing that they asked us about was, based on the fact that you're putting it in, would you consider making a donation back to the program? Because, you know, there's quite a sum of revenue that could probably come from it, and we are in agreement with allowing you to put it there, which was with a leasing agreement with the town through Mr. Gibbons, who said, you can handshake the agreement, but the town certainly can't enforce it because they can't by right or law give you any
Right.
money.
Right.
That's what happened.
Right, we
So-
can accept
And let me just
donations.
finish on this, 2 seconds.
We
But-
can accept donations,
and
we
then-
can't fundraise.
And then COVID happened, and we did take over the program. So since in the minutes, it says the money was supposed to go to the
Hold on a
program.
second. So softball was dissolved, we took it over April 8th, 2019. So it was 1 year after that initial agreement was made, it was before COVID.
Yeah, we're literally just
So-
talking about a donation for 1 year,
So
and I
since
just
the
wanna see a
donation was
receipt
supposed
that
to
it
go to the
happened.
program,
So
we
the
have the program now.
my question is the donate, so you're saying you're going to donate money to the Clinton Youth Softball?
That's the way it was in the minutes on the agreement. We're gonna donate the $800 to $1,000 to Clinton Youth Softball.
From Clinton
At that
Area
point-
Little League to Clinton Youth Softball?
No. At the time, it was, the town had the softball program. We're gonna donate it back to the program. It wasn't until
Okay.
later on, like after COVID, that we dissolved one and we took it over.
Okay,
So like, we took it over after the fact.
So now you're,
Okay.
is that like, the donation is now null and void now, or are you saying? or-
Where would you suggest the donation go since it was
To
supposed
the
to go to the
Clinton
program?
Parks and Rec Department.
Yeah.
No, that's not what the original agreement was. The original, you said you have it in
It's the
black.
same place.
Excuse
It's
me,
not the same
excuse
place.
me, you said.
hold
you
on,
have it
hold
in
on,
black
hold
and
on, hold
white.
on. One time, Mr. Cobus says
You
the
said you
phone.
have it in black and white. In black and white, it says there'd be a donation of $800 to $1,000 to Clinton Youth Softball, which was part of Parks and Recreation. It does not say to Clinton Youth, to Clinton Parks and Recreation, okay? And then you can choose to where you want it to go. So that's not accurate.
So the place that donation was going no longer exists.
Say it again?
The place where that donation was going no longer exists.
Correct.
Technically.
Yeah, we took over the next year, so.
And who, I just have a question. Who pays for the maintenance?
Hold on one second.
Hold
So is there something that we want to have a larger conversation
Is there-
about? Because
Oh, yeah, we always have
Just
secret
clarifying something.
I was clarifying.
All right,
Who pays for the maintenance and the, like, facilities and stuff down for that?
The
facilities.
Phyllis Facilities Department,
The taxpayers.
the town.
The ta-
It's
I was
good
asking
town,
them,
good
Amanda.
town fields.
Sorry. So, it's the so you guys don't pay that?
No.
No, minutes, okay, cause I was gonna say, I was reading back on some minutes and there was one part that I read that, I must have been mistaken, but I thought it said that, that there would be like a donation under the pretenses that the Parks and Rec was paying for the, like the bills and whatnot for the snack shack,
they waive the electrical fee, correct?
yeah.
For the electrical fee for the snack shack.
So
was
last year's
waived.
electrical fee was
And so is that-
$7,777.
And so is,
For Savage Field?
Yes.
so that's paid for by facilities,
No, that's paid for by the taxpayers.
That's paid for by the taxpayers.
Yeah.
okay, like the general fund, so that,
Facility, yeah, the town, yeah.
So what's your point?
so, okay, so was that the case, was that under the
And
pretenses
you should see a
that-
significant drop in the electrical bill this year with the LED lights going up. That we just-
But electrical has also gone through the roof.
Correct, the
And
rate
it
went up.
wasn't really
The rate's
used
gone
last year.
absolutely.
What's that?
It wasn't really used last year.
Softball wasn't used last year, correct?
Yeah,
That's a
Barely.
town issue, that's not a little
Yeah.
issue.
No, I'm
Yeah.
just saying
The town-
softball was
the
not
town's
used
gonna pay
last
for
year.
utilities like they do at every other building and piece of property that they own when it comes to lights.
Do you have anything else, Joe?
Should we motion to officially, call that donation agreement null and void?
Well, I believe what they're saying is the donation agreement is null and void because the organization that we are donating to doesn't exist, so that in turn would make it null and void.
It was honestly a part and parcel because of the snack shack. Like, we wanted to make sure we weren't getting benefit for the Little League and saying, well, not our problem, softball, because it's not fair, right? Like, you put the snack shack in, you're gonna make revenue, you wanna share it with the people that use the fields.
Right.
That was the agreement,
So,
for sure. Like, we would never wanna do it any other way.
Okay, I'm literally just asking if you guys made a donation in 2019, and I just wanted proof of that so that we could waive the fees.
28,
It was
2019,
COVID.
I mean, excuse me.
so yeah, it would have been well, technically, it would be the 2019 season, right?
Right,
Because this all
right.
took place.
2019.
Because
The
it
agreement
was,
started
I was still
2019.
coaching for the Parks and Rec at that time with her, so,
Yeah.
On 2019?
yes.
It would have, no, it would have
That's-
technically been the 2018 season, you're right, because the next year is when
you took
Call
over.
to
Yes.
we took it over.
Yeah,
correct.
there was like a collaborative effort where it was like she was still doing it, but they were still, like, they were supposed to be working together. Next year, they were gonna take it over, is what I was told,
You're right, that's correct.
so.
So I would say, I don't believe a donation was made. But I will say, since we took the program over, we've probably spent $10,000 on the program. So if the donation that you're asking about, $800, was gonna go to the softball program, I can tell you, we have spent 8 to 10x that at this point in time to get this program running with new uniforms and everything else that goes along with running a program that was 25 people, that's now 100. So, like, if you're looking for the $800, I don't know if that's what you're looking for.
Well, you guys were looking for us to waive the fees too, so I was just
Which-
kind of,
That
the
agreement
fees for the
already
field,
in place,
but that agreement's already in place. If you don't wanna disrupt anybody else as far as youth athletics. But,
As far as disrupting in what way?
I'm trying to count.
not charging fees for kids to play sports. So that the costs stay down. I just was concerned that agreement was made and it was never fully
Honored.
gone into, you know,
That's fair, yeah, that one
you
year,
know,
we can.
like that's $800 that could go to a program here. Someone
No,
could do a
it's supposed to go to
softball
softball
clinic.
program.
I'd love to see a softball clinic held down here, you
It's
know.
supposed to
or
be a
something.
softball program
I
doesn't
mean,
exist.
Right, but what I'm saying, it now
Hold on.
doesn't exist, but at that moment in time, in 2019, it did exist, but it was never made. The donation was never made when it was supposed to.
So,
So I'm
I-
asking about it now, because I wanted to know if it actually was made, and I was given false information, and, you know, if it wasn't made, would you guys donate to, you know, something here? Because other organizations have given donations to the programs.
Like who?
I believe we just got a donation from the Grays who use the field here. Clinton, I don't know if Clinton Youth Football has given one, I
Not
think.
the youth sports.
No,
Northeast, is like the
Yeah,
Northeast
like the-
AAUs, that's a
Well,
that's
they
a
pay for
for-profit
their
organization.
field time. That's a
Right.
different.
and I know when the program was here, they used to give like scholarships to some of the kids who couldn't afford to play softball.
We do.
We do that all the time.
So it's
all the
just,
time.
Do we pay, charge this?
I just wanna make sure the
Hold on.
community is getting whole from what happened in 2019.
I
You
think the
know?
community's more than whole.
so so right now, I think that what we have on the table right now is a 2018 $800 issue.
Yeah.
And how we're gonna move forward from that agreement, okay? You know, Clinton Area Little League's position is they have supported the town, they have donated tenfold, they have done, in their estimation, more for the program. I believe you're under the opinion that the agreement was never honored.
Right.
To go forward, you know, a scholarship for a Clinton Parks and Rec person into the program, I basically want to clear up 2018, is what I want to clear up.
That's fine. We can-
Okay, I wanna clear up that, so there's no bad feelings going forward, and I wanna get moving forward on field progression, you know, maintenance, everything else.
It's fair.
So I just wanna clear that up. I think, you know, you guys were upset, or Clinton Area Little League was upset because of some things that were said in a board meeting and misinformation that you said, and I think we've cleared it up now. I think, is everybody on the board clear on,
Is it sort, you're saying, do you wanna give a donation?
I'm saying we're trying to figure out a way to move forward. Then,
So that's what I was saying, should we make a motion to solidify that agreement,
I don't,
just to.
I don't believe a motion is required I think Clinton Area Little League,
Maybe we could work out like a scholarship for a kid that does your program and wants to go to one of our programs too, or something like to that degree, rather than working out like a donation. I don't know if that,
You're talking about a scholarship for someone who wants to play softball?
no, for like, wants to go to a summer playground or something like that. Like for the week or something to
a
that
person that
degree.
you're in your program that you've given a scholarship to,
That also
give
wants
them
to
a
attend
scholarship
That's not-
summer
to
That's not a
Clinton.
bad
Or
idea.
something like that to that degree.
to
rather
summer
than a monetary
playground, which
donation.
is,
Just because charging for field fees sets a dangerous precedent for other youth nonprofits, and we don't want to do that.
I agree with you, I mean,
Yeah.
we've never paid field fees.
We don't wanna
as-
charge you.
I mean, our families are your families, you know what I mean? And these are assets of the town, you really shouldn't,
Yeah,
you really guys, I mean, anyways.
But
I agree with that, I think it's a good idea. If there's a softball player that we're scholarshiping that also would like to go to summer camp and funds are an issue, we would be happy to partner with helping those kids go to summer camp.
I think to move forward, I think that should be probably left in your hands to work with Rachel Lucking or Matt,
I mean, it could be a little leaguer too. It doesn't necessarily have to be a
Yeah, we
softball
can-
person. I
I-
just think like there should be a
It's
little
Clinton Youth
more.
Softball. I'm trying to stay on the Clinton Youth Softball. That's
so
honestly,
nice.
that's where I'm trying to
It's
push
call,
it.
right? Call is everything.
Yeah,
It's-
pretty
is
much,
it?
yeah,
Yeah.
organization.
Clinton Youth softball is basically sub.
Falls under the umbrella of,
Okay.
Area little.
And then there's like the Bulldogs, the Hurricanes.
Bulldogs is a completely separate organization. completely
Oh, it's,
separate.
I thought it's under call though.
Bulldogs is not under call.
It's supported by us, but it's not.
Do they use those
Do they
fields?
use the field?
Yeah. But they're also a not-for-profit that has Clinton kids that are the same Little League kids that we have playing Little League. They're not different kids. It's one team, and they're your Clinton kids. I mean, if we're on a money-making expedition here, guys, let's just put it
No,
on the
it's
table.
not
What do
that.
you want from me?
It's
You
not
want me to
that.
write you a check?
It's not that.
No,
I mean, I'm just curious, because that's what it feels like. It feels like we're on a witch hunt, that we welched on an agreement,
no,
and
we're
that they want money.
we're not,
That's what,
so I just said, we're trying to move forward from a 2018 agreement and how to move forward from that.
and I agree with you, but I want to be on record as saying one thing. We're trying to fix it because the position here is that we welched on it. And what I'm saying to you is that my position is, we've invested tenfold, and if we had given you that $800 and softball never dissolved, it would have went to softball. That next year, it did go to softball, to the tune of $10,000 in startup costs. So I just want to be clear that we would never welch on an agreement that we put together with the community. We're good stewards of the community. We serve 300 families. So I get a little passionate about that. I take that personal because we would never take money away from families.
Right.
And I agree that in that frame of time, it was under this organization and we didn't make the donation. I don't disagree with that, but if we had, it would have went to the softball program, but we spent more than enough money to do that. I think it's a great idea to do a scholarship program. I'm in favor of it.
Okay.
But I'm just saying, because like, we would never welch on money to the community. We would
This-
never do that.
This isn't a witch hunt, but I've been on this board for 3 years, and every time Little League has come up, it is always an issue.
Yeah,
Every single time.
with you it is.
Whether
Why
it's,
is
it
it-
I've
was
watched the
before
videos.
me, it was
I've watched the
before
videos.
me.
Why is it an issue though? That's,
Can I finish?
oh,
Listen to her.
You were here for this, and you were here for this. There was talk about the cameras that are down on the snack
Oh, let's
shack.
talk about that. I would
And
love to
then
talk about
that's
that. Let's
the
do that.
other-
I'd
Can
like
we
to
do
talk
that?
about that
God.
too.
Let's talk about the cameras.
Hold on one second.
Yeah, I wanna hear about that.
So-
Guys,
I'd like to also hear about that.
Here's the reality. At a public meeting, you said that Little League goes back and watches replays of the games and then enforces corrective action. It is 100% right in here, 100%, okay? That is completely false, all right, completely false. And if you, it's right here. In fact, I'll
Where
find it.
recently?
This is on the August 25th, 2021 agenda.
That's what I said, it wasn't recent. I don't remember saying that recently.
Well, unfortunately, there's a transcript.
That's okay, I stand
Unfortunately.
by it. I stand by it, because at the time, that is what I was told.
Oh, that's great. That's what you're
So-
told. Who were you told by? Did you ever bring it up to us?
No,
And say,
I'm
hey,
not
just out
going
of
to.
curiosity?
Because when I did ask about the cameras and we discussed it, both these two were, John and Patty were on the board with me. We discussed it, we motioned that the Parks and Rec have direct access to it or they be
Which they
removed.
do.
And there was a lot of back and forth. There was, even Mr. Kerrigan was involved. I believe Chuck Mandeville told everybody to take the cameras off and sell them and let the town pay for their own, which I was like, oh, that's nice.
What's the direct access that Parks and Rec has for the cameras?
So basically just go through, well, first and foremost, the only time we've looked at those cameras is when the Clinton Police Department has asked for access, number one. Number two, they have a key to the press box in the snack shack, which is through facilities.
Oh, okay.
Brian Farragut has
Brian
those.
Farragut, which is stated in there. And then, which at the time, the facilities director basically said, we have access to. But the sentiment was that people wanted to be able to go in anytime they wanted, which there was never even a discussion about. So that's kind of what the intention was on the Parks and Rec side. But it basically said, I've seen teams get thrown out of there because somebody didn't like what someone did down there. So like a
That was in
replay,
reference to
No,
the
let me
men's
finish.
softball
No.
league. That was what that was in reference to. When the porta potties were moved, the cameras were utilized to kick out a team.
who
that was in
utilized
the
them?
men-
Who utilized
I
it?
don't,
We
I
never
don't,
got
I
a
don't know.
response.
I was
We
told the
have nothing to do
cameras were utilized,
We
the
don't
porta
have anything
potties
to
were
do with
moved,
men's
and there was
softball.
a team
We have
kicked out.
nothing to do with men's softball.
This was
Zero.
So
Zero.
we're talking about,
Yes,
you were told once, they did not,
right,
who's
it's
telling
here,
these things?
it's, she said, he said.
Right, I mean, can I
So that's
just so you understand, when you're elected to a board and you choose to verbalize hearsay, when it's a rumor around the water bubbler, that's like the most dangerous nonsense that you can like take part in. Like if you have a challenge that comes up that's Little League driven, John called me. We've had conversations about, hey Matt, what about this? What about that? What about a key? Have a conversation and just ask us. Just ask us.
It's part of this, it's business in regards to this.
You just said it was
parent,
hearsay.
as a parent in this
That was
town,
in reference
I don't
to-
feel
It was-
comfortable bringing my kids to a playground that has cameras at it. Every
So don't bring them
public,
there.
I don't, I
Okay,
haven't for
there
the
you go.
last 2 years until I was made aware that those cameras were
What-
there.
Let-
They
let-
haven't
Let
gone.
me tell you a little bit about the cameras.
So I just,
The cameras,
can I finish? It makes me extremely uncomfortable as a parent in this community. And as a board member, it was brought to my attention, I made a motion, and then it's just been back and forth ever since 2021 of February. Like, it's just ridiculous.
So why
So,
don't we just end it right now and then there won't be a problem, you can only be the
I
only one
agree.
with a problem and then so why don't we just agree that the donation is null and void because they've obviously donated.
wait a minute, we weren't talking about
And
this.
I'm just saying that part of it, the cameras though, I'm
You did.
saying the whole
You
thing,
did.
that, I think
Those other
that,
3 people
I
are
think that should be,
tough.
that
It works.
agreement should be, just be null and void and ignored because like Mr. Varick has said, they basically made that donation 10x
So,
times, and I think
so
that
we were off the
with
donation.
Camera, with the camera issue, I don't know, Amanda seems to have a big problem with it, I think that
She-
there is no problem because we clearly have access, I mean. Matt
So-
explained that
so hold on,
perfectly.
Because
So,
she didn't think we have access. We do have access through facilities, okay?
Now,
So-
we did not at the time.
Yes, you most certainly
Yeah,
did, and
we
if
did,
your,
we
your
always-
facilities director says it right in the meeting minutes,
That's
the
what he said.
transcript too.
Not
It's not
back
even
then,
summarized.
not back then, they did not have
100%.
access.
That's
They did not have
100%.
access. Brian now has access.
Brian had access when he first started.
Right,
Because
and
Russ
Brian has
Townsend
only
had
been-
access.
Brian has only been there not even a year, I don't
That's
believe.
not even close to
Why
2
are,
years.
why are we arguing
Russ
about this
Townsend had access.
now, when we have access, correct? Brian Fairweather has access.
Brian,
I know Brian has access.
we've always had access.
Because they're buildings that have to do with facilities, so if anybody needs to go, they can go. I mean, it's no different than when the police department reached out about the vandalism that took place down on Ash Street. It's no different than when the vandalism took place on the mural at Savage Field. There's no difference when the police had reached out about the hit and run that took place on Vale Street. There's no difference when there was a hit and run on Water Street.
Okay.
They're asking for it. We do not watch those. The one time we tried watching them was when someone slashed some of the signs.
Somebody's, okay.
That was it. But to insinuate we're reviewing and enforcing it
And
is,
just like to put a cap on the cameras, the
Disingenuous.
cameras don't live stream. The cameras sit with a small black box that's a hard drive that overrides literally every, I wanna say I don't know if it's 2 weeks, 30 days, it just overrides. So it doesn't live stream, it's a hard drive. So in the event something were to happen, we could go back and look at footage if the police needed it. I can count on one hand how many times I've looked at the footage. So nobody's watching anybody's kids. There's no big brother going down on Vale Street or anywhere else where there's cameras, by the way, whether it's your schools or
Where are the
anywhere else.
cameras?
Is that what the inference was?
Where are the
the
cameras?
snack shack,
Snack shack
and
and
they go 4 corners, so they basically cover the perimeter of the snack shack, and then there's cameras that cover the perimeter of the press box. That's it. So when the mural was
No,
2 camera systems,
there's more than 2 cameras.
There's 4 cameras.
yeah, the 8 total.
Yep,
Two
4-inch
camera
building.
systems.
So basically it gets the front, the side, right, the perimeter. So the camera that was on the concession stand is what caught the mural because it faces like the front window area. So-
There are 2 in the back and then
So they basically go like back, side, front, back, right? So you have, if someone was breaking into the snack shack, hypothetically, you have that immediate service. They're not pointed out to the playground, to the fields. It's whatever's in the peripheral when, in that front window, like, that's how they caught the mural. right?
So to move forward on this, I believe, I agree with you on the hearsay. There's an email from the former director. So Amanda is not getting this by hearsay, okay? She's getting it from a person that was supposed to be informed of the program. And so she is taking it from the director of the program as that, okay? So,
So in other words, she was just wrong.
Well, hopefully we can all just be clear on it from
But
here.
that's what we decided, you know, in the hiring of Mackenzie, of how to basically move forward with this relationship and how to get forward and get over this hump.
Yeah, because I don't think anything was ever really settled, and then Mackenzie had to pick up things that weren't settled, and that's what
Right.
we're trying to get done now.
Which
get settled.
she's done many things of. So going forward, we are going to discuss that, the scholarship program with them.
I think we're both okay with that.
Okay, but they'll,
You guys are
you-
okay with that?
Is that gonna be, is that a policy for Parks and Rec for other non-leagues, or is that just based
Or are we
upon?
doing this in?
It was just in lieu of that. What should have been done.
I honestly think that should be done with Clinton Youth Football. I think it should be looked at with every sports organization. You know, we all, to be honest, we all have I grew up in a town where Parks and Rec ran every sport. Now, every sport is now run by outside organizations.
Right.
So, would we like to run sports at some point? Yeah, we would. We'd like it to, we'd like to run something else. We'd like to run a Parks and Rec building. So, that's what we're looking for. We're not looking to take over baseball. We're not looking to take over softball. We're not looking to take over football. We're looking to develop a program. So moving forward, I don't know if we need to make a motion to let you work out the scholarship program with that. I'm good with it. I think everybody else, I think it falls completely under her, so I'm good with that.
That would be policy, that's a policy that you're establishing through Parks and Rec.
So-
Facilitate it, but you would be creating the actual
We would need to
policy.
create that policy with them.
That would also only be if they're making the policy. If we're actually trying to pay an unpaid debt, or whatever the heck it is that we're doing.
We're not,
But going forward,
But going forward, there shouldn't be a policy, because you can't volunteer,
Yeah,
you
I
can't have a policy to force people to volunteer
Yeah.
or donate to anything. Because it's a volunteer or a donation. You cannot put something on paper that requires it.
A lot of the kids that are in your program go to the summer
Sure do.
program. So it would be awesome to see some of those kids, get to do both programs.
And we'd be happy to do it.
And facilitate that. That's,
We do
well, what he's
scholarships for high
saying is
school
we can't
graduates.
make a
You
policy.
can't make a
Right.
policy against it though, because you can't require
right,
it
I
to be
agree
done.
with you, I agree
Alright.
with you.
so,
I think it's just two organizations working together to benefit the community,
Correct.
so going forward, with this understanding, with the process of the scheduling and the paperwork and the communication to the commission and, working with the facilities department, we can kind of grow from this versus I feel like this conversation happens anytime there's turnover with the Parks and Rec Commission, right? Or if there's a new director, which hopefully I'm not saying, hopefully there's not.
Right.
But so it seemed like
She's
But
under
that's-
contract for 10 years.
to keep
10 years, perfect.
Like the
I
loose
hope.
ends, everything started when you were there,
Yeah.
when I came on board,
Weird.
and then John came on board, it was just like Groundhog's Day all over
Yes.
again.
yes, I agree. I
It just
completely
needs to be settled.
So as long as
I
we
don't,
hold.
I don't think we should have to meet with you guys. I think it should always be her or Laura or whoever's in this position. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just,
Yeah, I mean, you have that procedure in place where it becomes Groundhog Day every year,
Right.
right? Because if we don't get you the paperwork back, then yes, then there's an issue, right? Because we're not holding them to our side of the.
So on that note right there, please, we can X out that maintenance part of the agreement
And the fees, yeah.
and the fees,
Right,
yeah.
absolutely. And, if we X it out or take it out and send that, please get that
Yeah,
back.
I can make an amendment if you want, or we can have
Perfect.
it's on record during the meeting
Perfect.
as well, so.
Okay.
If you can do that for,
I can do two separate ones for, baseball and softball.
for Babe Ruth.
Sure.
If you wanna
Whatever
do
they're
all-
comfortable with. I mean, it's kind of all one program, and the way they register. Babe Ruth isn't Little League. I mean, and like I emailed just saying, we'll get you the Babe Ruth schedule. I probably won't have it for 2 or 3 weeks, just
Okay.
because it's later, but we'll make sure you have it. But if you want to do something separate with Babe Ruth, I'm happy to
Okay.
either do that, or you can list Babe Ruth
I would,
Yeah.
yeah, I would do like call
Yeah.
and then Babe Ruth or whatever, however it falls for you guys, you know what I mean? Like softball has their own schedule, Babe Ruth has their own schedule. I
Yes.
would just do it like that.
Yeah,
Who
that's the
else
big
falls
difference.
under you,
Exactly.
Babe Ruth and, or who else do you help? Babe Ruth and
Clinton Youth
Bulldogs,
Softball.
you said?
Youth softball, Little League, which Little League is like T-ball, coach pitch, minors, majors, and then Babe Ruth.
What was that other one you said you support Bulldogs though, or?
That's a separate program.
That's an AAU team, right? Or something like that?
Correct. It's an AAU team.
Those are expensive.
No, they're not.
Not this one.
No?
Not this one. So this is a branch off of the Little League. It's an AAU team. They make no money, zero. So the kids can play AAU
Is
because,
that the one that goes to Cooperstown?
not this one.
That's triple play.
So
Oh,
anyway,
okay.
it's a not-for-profit AAU program that we're using to help the kids get more time. But we're supportive of it, but it's an AAU program.
They
But
play other towns.
They play other towns, other programs.
This is
They
why
don't
we get
make it-
confused
But they don't
about
make any money, and they're the same Clinton kids that play Little League. They're literally your Little Leaguers, same
Okay.
people.
Do we charge them like at the same rate that we charge?
You don't charge them at
We
all.
don't charge you.
We don't charge.
This Babe Ruth thing here.
Do we charge any of the nonprofit?
You do not.
We charge the AAU
Hold on,
teams. that
hold
are-
on. We charge
No.
we do not charge any town teams. Any outside AAU team, AAU is the
That's where I'm.
Amateur Athletic Association, which is basically taking over youth sports by making everybody pay.
Is that part of like the city? or-
No, it has nothing to do, it's a for-profit organization,
Oh,
okay? So they pay for field usage,
Okay,
okay?
okay, good. That's what I wanted to make sure.
I think it's, is it amateur athletics? Is that-
Amateur Athletic Union,
Union. AAA.
yeah.
Yeah.
Triple A.
Triple A, yeah, wait.
Anything else as far as Clinton Area Little League? Good. Move on to Savage Field Administration?
I think it all falls under
That
the
all
same-
falls under that?
Yeah. I think
Okay.
we're set with everything that has to do with everything.
Okay.
And we, there's no subletting of the fields out either, right, just so, because I know that came up, and I don't think it was necessarily directed towards any youth group, but there's no subletting, like, if we have the field, we don't say like, oh yeah, like, you know, Berlin Boylston, you can use the field, like, that doesn't happen at all.
Okay.
So, say all that.
Thank you guys for coming in.
Thank you
so much, thank you, looking forward to it.
Thanks for the clarification.
Thank you guys.
Sorry, but it's.
No,
been-
I agree
Since I've been on the
wholeheartedly,
board, it's like
yeah.
my.
I agree. You know, it'd be nice that like, just all the process is always there.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming in, guys.
We'll see you later.
Take it easy.
Let's move on to facilities updates. I know you had talked to Brian, I believe, about concrete chessboard quotes.
Yes, he just wants the exact location of the units, so I was gonna go up and talk with Deb Goodsell, because she was, the Council on Aging were the first people who sort of tried to get a grant and couldn't get one. We were lucky to secure a grant, so we want to include them in the process since they were initially the ones who brought it up. So we were thinking, we have a quote where we can get 2 of the concrete chessboards that just, they can be forklifted onto the park instead of having to dig a hole and have them be permanent structures. I mean, someone can't go by and throw them in a truck because they're concrete. And we were thinking one in the corner over by like the Chestnut and Church corner, and then the other corner of Union and Walnut. So sort of put them either opposite
I-
corners of the park
So
or
same
put them
size.
I
next to
think-
each other.
I think we decided on this last time. I think the best people to do it is the facilities people and
Right.
you.
And I'll talk
And
to
Council on
Brian.
Aging, who's gonna use it, and I believe you have the utmost confidence in the board on where you're going to put those. Just please update us where and when
Yeah, I'll get that going
Absolutely.
right now.
they're going in.
I can just put in my 2 cents. I think that, I mean, I'd like to see them together because like, then, you know, one section of the park, you know, like that's, you know, like it would, like the other end over by Chestnut Street is kinda busy with all the cars and whatnot. I just don't know if like say like the elderly or something over there. I don't know.
So I get it.
I just
Again,
wanted-
my opinion is facilities should decide, or
Yeah.
people that are utilizing it.
Yeah,
They're
that's,
Which
gonna
is-
have to mow.
that,
around it
that's
and
fine.
stuff.
I just
Yeah,
want- I
I'll
just
see what
wanted to-
Brian likes and.
Your 2 cents?
Well, you gotta
Yeah.
remember, our intent is to
Electrical
have the
is-
seniors use it as well as, younger generations too, so if they were together up there, I think people might think it was more just for the seniors, where.
Well, so then if it's also
What?
to see Joe's point, if they are together, then maybe it can start developing relationships
It
between
could,
the old and the
yeah.
young. Do you
I
know what I
like
mean?
that.
Between different generations that play chess and like coming together, so maybe
Yeah,
you
that's a
have
good
a
point.
12-year-old playing a 72-year-old, do you know what I mean? And they
Yeah,
can talk and share stories and just strengthen community bonds.
I know they had asked that we put one on the Corcoran House side too, though, so we'll have to go down
What's
there.
that?
The corporate house,
Yeah.
because of the residents there.
Oh, yeah,
Go
'cause
down
Because
and
we've
like
got
look
two
around
opposite
and
ends.
see.
with
Oh,
the-
that's the end I was imagining.
I think it's gonna come down to space, the
Yeah.
dimensions of everything, and
And we'll see what Brian thinks is the
Yeah.
most feasible.
Okay.
I'll present him all the options that were presented today.
Okay.
And we'll see what, his main take is, like for maintenance, where the sprinklers are,
Okay.
where they can be placed without creating additional work.
Yeah.
We leave that, leave that on the agenda for next month.
I will.
Thank you. Depot Square, I believe we have a guest as well. Lee?
Hi.
How are you?
welcome.
Hope you're as much fun as the last guest.
I mean, it's kind of a little bit of an active one. Yeah, I'll do my best. I'm brand new, so I can't get to the ground.
Next time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
This is for you,
Thank you.
this is for you.
This is Depot Square.
And there's no more ink left in the printer in case anyone wants.
I can,
I'm joking, I'm sorry. I got plenty.
We don't joke here, Lee.
I'm sorry for
That's okay.
that.
All serious.
My apologies.
Like
Oh,
this
great.
part, but not like.
Hold on, go ahead, Lee. Thank you.
I will be brief. Hi, thanks for having me. I am not asking for any money. I am just asking for everyone's permission.
Lee, could you just tell us who you are?
Okay, so let me back.
What
So
position
my-
you're in?
so-
I know, but I don't.
So my name is Lee Abdella, and I was hired last June to work in the Community Economic Development Office as a consultant, reporting in Philadelphia, specifically to be focused on downtown. Branding it, promoting it, facilitating, business meetings in a Chuck Woolery kind of way of businesses looking to come into town, connecting them with property owners, beautification, and any other
Of the
partition
downtown.
of the downtown, which for the purpose of this position is considered basically from Triangle Square down to the corner of Dunkin' Donuts.
Because just clarification, because we do get, Parks and Recs gets confused with the downtown revitalization all the time.
Exactly, I get confused for everybody. Everybody thinks I run the chamber, I do a bunch of things apparently.
Right. Well, they're always-
I wear many identities, but yes, so technically, yes. So I'm the downtown development consultant
Okay.
reporting to the Community Economic Development Office.
Wow.
Yes, try putting that on.
Yeah, I know. Is that on a business card?
It is on a business card, I'll leave it for you so you guys know how to get a hold of me, because I am open to suggestions and ideas at all times.
Okay.
There you go. It is,
That's
it is.
exciting to know.
Yeah, and so, yep, and I, see me walk around downtown all the time, just, that's how you get to know a place. So yes, from Triangle Square, down Union to the corner of Dunkin' Donuts, including, the Bigelow project. Down Main Street to Depot Square, the corner of Main and Water, up to the corner of High and Water, and then up, through Town Hall and up to the corner of Central Park is what we consider downtown for the purpose of this position. One of the tasks is to really sort of beautify and activate the gateways of the downtown, if you will, which one of them being the intersection of Depot Square. And you've already seen some good momentum going on with businesses opening down there. And one of the things why I'm here today specifically just to move the ball along. I'm all about moving the ball. So last year we did outdoor dining tables and chairs on High Street with the custom umbrellas, the black and white umbrellas.
Those
That
were
was you?
awesome.
Yeah, that was me. You
That
should have
was
seen.
awesome.
I was literally, I looked like a moron. I was filling up the water into the bases of the
So they don't
umbrella
fall away.
stands and drag them down. So yes, it's glamorous sometimes here. But it was great, and it made people happy, right?
Yeah.
You
Right.
get people out, you get people mixing and matching and talking, and that's how you create vibrancy. So we would like to extend that down to Depot Square with permission to put, the two little pink squares would be 2 tables that would match the tables on High Street. So they'd be, what would, for my former waitressing days in my youth, 2 tops. So there'd be
Okay.
2 chairs per table, 2 tables, 2 umbrellas, black and white umbrellas that say downtown Clinton on them, custom, that would go on that brick pad that is right in front of the memorial. I've spoken with Brendan Bailey, so the Veterans Department or Veterans Services Department has no concerns. He
He's
said,
okay on
go
that?
right ahead, totally fine with it. I spoke with Brian at Facilities.
Fair enough.
There's 4 trash cans on the park currently, they get cleaned out or monitored daily. He said if it gets, more use in the warm, summer months, and they're happy to clean them out more often so that there's not an issue. The goal really is to support the 2 restaurants that are there, which are doing a heck of a business, but they don't have any outdoor dining space.
Okay.
And their sidewalks are not wide enough to set it up the way you have it set up on High Street, which is why we came to the park, and also because we wanna activate that park, and those are our long-term goals, is to put more attention on that park, put street pole banners, have activities there, working in concert with these guys, who I enjoy working with. There's a hot dog man, which is apparently his formal name. Nobody can tell me who this man is or what his name is, but he is
Bob Parker.
Bob,
Okay, so if somebody can give me Bob's info, because I'd like to make sure that
Bob doesn't have info.
He just appears.
He just
He just manifests magically. Okay.
You have to find.
Bob, if you're watching, spring is coming, so let's get going, Bob.
Bob appears in April and disappears in October.
There you go.
Yes, yes.
The Canadian goose who knows how to make a heck of a dog. Okay. So, looking to activate more of that, and more beautification efforts, more activation efforts for Depot Square. So that's why I'm here. You don't have to spend any money. The money is already allocated. We just need your permission.
I motion to approve her request.
Second it.
Thank you. Oh, and I forgot to mention that we did have a conversation with
Hold on.
Taste of Brazil, which is the restaurant that's right there off of Depot Square.
Yeah.
That they'll keep eyeballs on it and keep it, wipe it down.
Oh, that's
and
good.
Keep,
Exactly.
There's
That'd be a
because they're gonna benefit from the,
Yeah.
because they do
Yeah.
a good business now where people will, I've noticed people will park their car like along where the laundromat is, pop in and get takeout, and then sit in their car and eat the takeout, because the footprint of the restaurant's so small. And
You're
this-
screwing up the motion, Lee. We already
Sorry,
motioned
sorry.
it.
I'm out. It's my George Costanza moment.
Screwing
As
this
good as
up.
it's gonna get.
A
I'm gonna
motion
go.
was made, I
Motion.
second.
Any comment?
I actually just have a question, yeah. I completely agree with everything you said, I think it's great. And bringing the community together, stop bringing people, different buildings, I love it, everything.
Thank you.
It's just one thing that comes to mind, first thing that came to mind that worried me is like the parking, that's an issue down there, kind of, for like the restaurants and whatnot. Do you think maybe like an agreement could possibly be made between like renaming monuments and like the restaurants and whatnot to maybe like allow parking over for the restaurants like over there, and
I don't think they have any say to those parking spots. I think they're just open parking.
Yeah, those are open public parking is my understanding, or that around the other side of Depot Square that you're talking about, or by the wall and all that.
where the place that made the monuments place.
Reagan.
Oh, yeah, the monuments place, yeah. So,
That's
yeah,
public.
those are all free and open.
Hold on. That's public parking right now, correct?
Yeah, that's public parking.
Okay.
They're not earmarked for specific businesses. And also, there's still the public parking lot that's on Water Street next to the
Yeah,
Brazilian Bakery, which
yeah.
is quite sufficiently sized. So I don't really think we've got a problem at this point. But again, that's something we keep monitoring, right? Downtown's a growing, changing animal. You always have to keep watching it and we adapt as
John,
we
the
need
motion's
to.
on the
But
floor.
I love,
So-
I love it. All of it, like I said, I was
Yeah.
first concerned.
And we'll make sure that Bob, the hot dog man, has his spot.
But I
So-
think that someone in the public has a question for us.
Well, we have a motion on the floor right now.
Can we hold that motion briefly? Because
Did you have something to
Well, did you have?
add?
because.
We had a
I was
second.
saying, bringing any monuments,
Yeah.
they did give the little Brazilian restaurant permission to park there, to use that park.
So it's not public park.
Yeah, he owns part of it, I guess.
He
Okay.
owns, I
So
believe he
part of
owns the couple spots right in front, but the ones that the parallel parking that rings the park and along that road,
Well,
if you will,
Okay.
that's all.
That's even better knowing that you gave permission.
Yeah.
Now that's,
Yes.
now I don't even worry about
Very
it.
clever.
Okay,
So that's awesome,
I think
cool.
you had a second.
motion on the floor,
Yeah, I
second, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Oh, wait, before you go.
Yeah.
Were you in charge of those lights on Depot Square, Christmas lights? Because
Yes.
people wanna know where you got them.
Yes. Yes, that was me. So that is a professional holiday lighting company out of Spencer. And they wrap the poles on High Street and they did that on, thank you. And so we hope to do that again and do more of it.
Okay,
So
I almost wish they'd leave them up all year round.
I-
Like, it's so pretty.
Isn't it just so happy? So yes, we,
I love bringing my kids down High Street during the winter when they're on. I'm like, look at the pretty lights.
I know, it just makes you,
I
makes
got
you happy.
I
So
got many asking about it, and I said, once again, that's not Parks and Rec. I said, although it's at Depot Square, it's the downtown, you have to contact Phil
I just
Duffy.
kept directing them to Phil.
Yeah,
Right,
I was
me
thinking about
too, but you
Yeah.
don't know how many people ask about that.
She's
Well,
gonna
just-
she's gonna give you your card.
There you go. Yeah, no, they're a wonderful company. They've collaborated with this town for the last couple of years, and I worked with them in a separate town, but they were here before I came here. But no, I thought it was great because again, it shows that the town cares about more spreading out the presence of downtown, right? So
Is there more room down there to do more at some point, or?
the tables and chairs.
Yeah.
I think
So,
that's a great idea.
It's a bit of a debate. So
I don't really know that
the
part.
cross section of the sidewalks go between 90 inches and 85 inches wide. So it's a matter
So
of,
you have to
you
give,
could do it, but depending on how much foot traffic you get there, or people wanna ride bikes or things like that, the umbrellas might get a little in the way. I think for now, let's start with two, let's see how it goes.
Okay.
If they're really popular,
We're
we've
open
got
to
to
that.
go.
yeah, absolutely.
Exactly.
Come back.
So-
Come back.
Come
Right
back.
now.
Okay, cool.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.
Move on to Parks and Recreation and department updates, upcoming programs and events.
Department updates, so Laura and I will both be out of the office next week, Monday through Wednesday, for the Massachusetts Parks Association Conference in Norwood. We will be remotely accessible via email, and Francine from the Council on Aging Tax Relief Program will be covering the office. We will be taking a class on April 24th to get Red Cross, CPR, and AED certified. Instructor certified, so we'll be able to start offering those classes in-house rather than outsourcing it. So the blast courses and things like that, and then we can also offer those for adults. So the CPR, AED
You
courses,
two are gonna,
we're gonna get instructor certified.
congratulations.
Thank you. That's great. So we're very excited about that.
Wait, you
Good.
said the office was managed by who? Do you have your new phones?
Not yet. Hopefully tomorrow we'll have like the remote app so that we'll be able to access like the calls from our phones. But there was somewhat of an issue getting because everything has to be invoiced to the town.
Yep, okay.
But
Are we closed here, or are we staffing it with
uh,
anybody with volunteer, or with
It's-
interns at all?
Francine from
Sorry,
the
I missed it, did I miss that?
Yeah.
My fault, sorry,
from the Council on Aging Tax Relief Program.
Okay.
She's getting some of her hours
sorry,
for the beginning of next week.
Sorry.
So,
okay.
She's been down here before, right?
Yeah.
She knows how to work.
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, she's
Yeah.
pretty familiar with it.
So she does a good job, and then we're in the process of hiring our summer staff for programming, and we're getting this space and the offices and out there painted very, very soon. So we're excited about that as well.
We see the doors went in, that was good.
Yes,
Yeah. The new
Very-
doors are working great.
yes, thank God.
Oh, yeah, look at those. So nice.
It's so much better than them falling off.
Yes.
Holiday pops, huge congratulations for being nominated for the Shillelagh this year. Nice job, Laura. That
Well,
was,
the whole committee.
it was the whole committee, but they're not here, so publicly thank the committee, but Laura is here, so thank you very much for the Holiday Pops. They were nominated
Awards.
for honoree for
I mean, after
Shillelagh.
a 2-year
Oh, that's
hiatus
awesome.
to come back like
Congratulations.
that was, I mean, it's well deserved, Laura, you should be very proud.
That is,
I'm looking forward to this year.
And at a sold out crowd too, which more people wanted to come to, so
awesome.
buy your tickets early everyone
Yeah.
next year.
This year.
And just to,
Oh, this
I
year.
want to add, the committee, a lot of the folks have been on for the duration or a huge tenure of the 25 years, and they're great group of people, like they welcomed me in, and it was a fantastic process putting it together, so I'm looking forward to next year, and we're gonna look for some more folks to join us, and, we've already got the date, December 2nd, 2023, and the town booked, so.
Oh, good.
Awesome.
And then our
Congratulations.
upcoming programs. Summer playground is completely full with waitlist except for week 2, so that's the week of 4th of July. So the
Not
short week.
surprised.
So we're excited about that. It's very early too. It didn't fill up this fast last year. Teen Adventure is filling up very quickly as well, and we have significantly greater enrollment than we have had in past years. We're running a free 10-week wellness program at Central Park this summer, with the first 5 weeks being free introduction to yoga, and the second 5 weeks being meditation and sound healing.
All that done by electricity?
Yes.
Okay.
Wow.
And then we're planning on doing different, because we won't be able to offer the field trip only just because we filled up so fast. We're thinking that we're gonna be able to offer some clinics during the day here. Like we're gonna do a parent and child yoga class, and then maybe some toddler programs during the day, and craft clinics, things like that, to like,
You mean all through the summer while the other programs are going on?
to coincide with that and supplement for not being able to offer that program for children that can't do a whole week of camp-like programming.
That's
Very
awesome.
That's what we're
very
going to.
considerate.
That's what we're
That's a
hoping
great
for.
idea.
It is.
Mackenzie, what'd you say the date was that that they start that the free
Oh, the yoga,
health thing
May
in the
18th.
park?
May 18th,
May 18th.
is that the date?
I think it's May 18th for
I
5
did not
weeks,
say
and then the sound
Healing is the
healing
following
is
5 weeks.
following 5
It's all on the
weeks.
website, right?
What's it called again?
Yes. Sound healing?
Sound healing.
So we have lots
That
of,
sounds nice.
Yeah.
It
should be.
I feel like I could get into that.
Yeah, we have lots of great programs and events coming up in our spring and summer programming brochure. So make sure you guys are on the newsletter and checking social media, and getting your Moose Hawks tickets for the game this year.
Town.
I did see that.
That's it for our
That's
upcoming
it.
programs.
Good. Public comment
For Parks and Rec.
for Parks and Rec? Yeah, sorry. Good.
Motion to adjourn?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
We are adjourned. I want to call the Fuller Field meeting to order. First on the agenda is the field house study.
We have to approve the minutes.
Oh my goodness.
Motion to approve the meeting minutes?
Everybody,
A second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Perfect. Sorry about that. Thanks. Field house study, is this notes from Brian? That you-
This is notes from Brian.
There we go.
Are you looking at the agenda and that, or?
No, I'm looking at Brian's. I'm
Okay.
looking
So
at
Emerald
Brian's.
House Studio is the one you talked about, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
that is.
Yeah.
Can you remind me what we approved for the feasibility study?
25.
25,000.
Right.
Okay. And we're waiting for a price back from LLB Drayton Fair. And Joe had asked me earlier, and I wanted to clarify on the record as well. So the feasibility study is going to tell us basically how much it's going to cost to bring that building up to code plumbing, electrical, structurally, so basically that those contractors come in and tell us, this is what you're going to have to do to bring it up to building code. So that's what we've approved initially. If, you know, I guess it's gonna depend on what LLB comes in at,
Well, they need a third one also.
we need one more.
Cause you need 3 quotes.
Well,
Yeah.
okay, yeah, there it is, yeah. So, you know, we may have to go for additional money to approve that, but, you know, talking to Mackenzie and Laura, it should be our number one priority is to get that building going. And I think Mackenzie's long-term goal is to make this building a recreation center for the town.
Yes.
Which includes the garage as well, to have activities and everything else, which I think is a phenomenal idea, to have a recreation center for this community. So I think we can, you know, we're gonna have to wait for next month for him to bring in the other quotes from two more.
That's my understanding.
Okay,
yeah.
so I will contact Brian, that'll be on my to-do. I will contact Brian and make sure that he can come to the next meeting and that we can look at if we're gonna need to approve more money or not for a feasibility.
Yeah, we don't wanna wait too long because you're right, we did 25,000 and this one's 30, so. 30,
Right.
So prices go up
Right,
and, how long ago did we do that? Was it just last year?
It was a town
It was a
meeting.
town meeting
Last
last year
year.
during the budget, yeah. And the idea would be that we got the feasibility study and then put the improvements
Right,
in
so we
this
aren't gonna
town
lose
meeting.
that 25 though for this year.
If we
right?
don't.
If we don't use
use
it,
Yeah, we lose it,
So-
so it needs to happen.
Before July 1st,
yes.
yes,
so we have to pick up
yes.
a
Yes.
place before July 1st. Doesn't mean it has to, the feasibility study has
Has
to
to
be
be
done.
done, but we need to have it,
Like a contract with
Yeah, it
them.
has to
yeah,
be
it has to be
invoiced
Okay.
contracted out, yeah.
Okay,
before July 1st. I would want an invoice,
Right,
They've done,
because otherwise,
Yeah.
because we'll lose that money.
Yes,
already a part of our budget.
yes, it's already approved and yeah,
like those funds have already been allocated for us for that project, but
So how would we go back and get more money to, if none of these bids come in at 25?
I think it'd have to come out of Brian's budget.
likely it would have to come out of Brian's budget because
think I
it's
remember.
facilities maintenance.
Oh,
but-
yeah, I think
Yes.
you did say that,
Yeah.
right, okay. That's
Yeah.
good,
well, yeah.
all right.
You're
So
welcome.
if you didn't, yeah, thank you.
Good percent.
If there is additional money needed, Brian Farragut does already know that he needs to work with that out of his budget. Okay,
All right, good.
moving on with Fuller Field updates and projects.
Just what Brian has here.
Okay,
I cleared it or you cleared it.
Sending back stuff.
Big Diamond, air fence was approved, yep. Was damaged when the light pole shifted,
They've been talking about
yep.
doing that, extending that backstop for a while now too.
Yeah, the backstops.
Electrical school,
Yeah.
right, has been talking about.
Which scoreboard is that down? Right down, straight down?
And we
One
keep
here.
their cleanup for
Here?
school.
one right here.
The little league one?
Yeah.
Maybe?
Yeah, the little league one, the little league one. The big one's been down for a while, hasn't
That's
it?
what I was gonna say.
Yeah.
We're fixing that.
Yeah. Why am I missing
It's the
the?
same stuff.
Okay, so this is the
The
chessboard.
It's in the middle.
The chessboard. It's my understanding is nothing to choose and it's a purpose.
These are just his updates
There it
for
is.
Okay.
tonight.
Okay, sorry, I was screwed up on the
You guys
sorry.
know what those purposes are.
Yes.
Updates.
We talked about this last meeting.
We're on the feasibility status. Any questions on any of the items that Brian has written up here from the board?
Under full field updates?
Under Fuller Field updates, yes.
Yeah, no.
Good. Okay. We have Mr. Barros here to talk about Aces of Diamonds for Clinton. Welcome again.
Welcome.
Top evening to you. Should we begin?
Absolutely.
I realized today, as I was looking over what I had sent you last week, that you may have some difficulty understanding my synoptic view. So I concluded that I'd create something, a visual aid that'd be more helpful to you in understanding where I'm going with this over the next few years, between now and 2027. Now, if you have any questions, would you hold them then until we've gone at least through 2023? Because 2024 through 2027 are recursive structures that essentially replicate what goes on with some minor variations and some major, in some cases, variations from what's gonna happen in 2023, okay? Well, if you look on your timeline there to the top left, you see 2023, and I've noted our principal asset, one of which is an actual asset, not a prospective one, like I've got mentioned later in my presentation. That actual asset being Fuller Field, and for 2023, what I have in mind is a commercial as well as a documentary about Fuller Field, working with Mark McMinn at the Community TV. As well, I'm working on reintroducing exhibition play from the Vintage Baseball Association membership. As a matter of fact, there are a couple of teams right here in New England, two other teams, believe it or not, in Vintage Baseball Association here in Massachusetts as well. One of them, Holliston, lays claim to the poem you probably heard of, Casey in the back. There's a Mudville section in Holliston, and they have claimed to be the origin of that poem. Now, on top of all of that, I will begin discussions with Mark about being able to televise the game as well, or at least to create highlights suitable for a news program or to run once a week. This is what happened at Fuller Field in terms of vintage baseball. Just in terms of exhibition, because in the following year, 2024, which I'm a bit ahead of myself into, we expect to be able to field a Club 9. Yet to be determined in terms of its nickname and its composition, but certainly we'll be recruiting, beginning this year, to be able to field a Clinton vintage baseball team in 2024. That would compete for the town of Clinton at the home field, Fuller Field, in perpetuity. As well, beginning this year, I recommend having a website to help promote the existence and knowledge of Fuller Field throughout the rest of Worcester County and throughout the state, the world. Being the home of the oldest continuously operated baseball park there, it's natural that it should have a wider audience than just local here. So that's what I've got in mind for 2023. And you'll notice on the bottom, item number 7 for 2023, that's promotion. That's the kind of thing that we'll be doing, which would include the website as well as a commercial. And the revenue enhancement due to the town of Clinton would have to do with rental and usage fees as well as licensing fees, given the Fuller Field logo and whichever other intellectual property would be brought to bear for promoting the asset. That's 2023. Any questions? We move on to 20. Sir.
What is the Vintage Baseball League?
The Vintage Baseball. Oh, sorry, you weren't at another meeting there.
No.
Okay. I made a presentation last year about the Vintage Baseball Association, the VBBA, and I can send you some more information about that too.
I love that.
But it's a national league of teams that play according to the rules that were established in the 19th century. It's about baseball as it was played between 1850 and 1910.
All right.
And I'll send you some more information. Before we
meet up after,
give me your email address, and I'll be in touch with you.
Yeah.
Okay. And I just heard I forgot. I thought I put it. That's beside the point. What I thought I did. Let's move on to 2024 because I'm adding a personal project of mine that I want to.
Can I just ask about the website?
I'm sorry.
The website would just be under, what would the website be under? It wouldn't be under Parks and Rec, would it?
Well, see, now that depends. We'd have to determine, because that, if it's under Parks and Recs, it would be Clinton's property. Or if it were the property of a private institution, that would also suffice. We would have to determine what would best work in terms of relationship as well as separating. We don't want any conflict of interest or anything going on, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I had not determined, that's why I left it open, because I would have to consult with, and that's one of the other issues I wanna bring up. In making my presentation to the other commissions and departments, I would notify them, and presumably they would let me know about what other liabilities we need to be concerned with with regard to licensing and other property relationships.
All right, thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. 2024 includes my essay film about Fuller Field. And so when I can send you more information about what an essay film is, rather than take up your time with it now. What I'd like to do is open up to questions and answers, if you have any, about where I'm proceeding with all this, because in the year 2026, I propose a Museum of American Ballparks be located here in Clinton as well, the home of the world's oldest continuously operated baseball park. Why shouldn't it? Why wouldn't it? It's inevitable, I believe, that it would also be home to a museum to such cathedrals as baseball parks. Cathedrals of Americana, so to speak. That's for 2026, a proposal there too that has to do with a physical plant as well as a virtual museum that would be distributed throughout all of the counties in Worcester County, all 60 of them. And that brings me to my 2027 proposal, yet another asset for the town of Clinton, which is the Worcester County Baseball Hall of Fame. That has to do with all of the diamonds that exist in all 60 of these counties yet to be discovered. But by my promoting the Acres of Diamonds concept among all of those counties, they will discover such individuals within their environments who were either born or active or raised in their communities that have to do with baseball, whether they were, for example, scorekeepers, people you don't even hear about, trainers, coaches, team managers, suppliers, for example, of equipment. Anybody associated with baseball, beginning in the 19th century through the present and in perpetuity, associated with our Worcester County, would have a presence, presumably, on the part of his town at the Worcester County Baseball Hall of Fame. That, in a nutshell, is what I have in mind. Questions? Answers?
I love it.
You've done a lot of work, that's for sure.
Well,
I think it's cool. It's
I
definitely a cool idea.
like the idea myself too, as a matter of
I know.
fact.
I remember
I-
the first meeting, I was like, a little mini Cooperstown would be awesome.
Sure,
But
why
it
not?
just, I don't know.
And the kind of place that Cooperstown itself would promote. Why not?
Yeah.
Sir,
Looks good.
My first one is, funding and that's mine.
well, I gotta raise the money to do this.
Yeah, without a
That means
doubt.
I gotta sell the idea.
Yeah. Are you currently,
I have embarked on that process. I wasn't able to start as early as I had forecasted that I would be, on account of some other things that I had still on my plate to tidy up. But having done that, I was able to begin in earnest in mid-February with
Yeah.
my own marketing and promotion, my own efforts to raise interest among the Vintage Baseball Association as well as the adult leagues. Because I'm assuming that, and it may not be a good assumption either, by the way, but I'm assuming that the regular adult leagues will resume whatever their scheduled use of the Fuller Field is in 2023. However, I'll be in touch with them anyway, just to put the bee in their bonnet that they need to consider and to raise the ante, as a matter of fact. But there are other teams as well that I'm not more interested in. Since I am focused on vintage baseball, it's attracting the other vintage baseball associations throughout the New England and Middle Atlantic states primarily, but maybe even as far away as the Great Lakes region and even the West Coast and the Southwest as well. May want to, and I'll promote the idea that they, yes, come to Clinton and play in the world's oldest continuously operated baseball.
Great ambitions.
Wow.
Fantastic.
Those are literally some excellent ideas.
Thank you. It'll work, and it's an asset for our
Definitely.
community.
Absolutely. I love it. I really do.
I mean, this is how Cooperstown was built,
Yeah.
Right.
around Doubleday Field.
Sorry, what is
And-
Which we know the history.
We know Doubleday Field.
Yeah.
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 And that's why Cooperstown was built there.
Exactly.
So, or the Hall of Fame was built there, so.
Sure. And why not here as well? We're all Worcester County, the footprints of Worcester, right?
Great.
I am done, unless you have any more questions, or if you have answers as well. I do need more information from your Parks and Recreations director, that's statistical or database information about the most recent usage for exhibitions, as well as seating capacity, you know, the stats for the field to make my model projection here. I need to know what kind of spectatorship we're looking at. And I do want to mention this, I have to present to other commissions and departments, and I have a list of the ones here too, and I'll mention that, I'll have to read them off, I haven't got them memorized
It's
or
the back
remembered.
page there, you have them all.
I did note them in what I gave you, but I want to repeat them in case I'm missing anybody, because everybody needs to be aware of what it is that I'm doing, because it's a holistic kind of an approach that I'm thinking of. It's going to have an effect on traffic, for example, parking, and tourism. There'll be presumably a whole lot more tourists arriving in our fair town to take advantage of the assets which we offer. Okay, so you guys, I think, have taken a look at that, have you not?
Yes.
Okay, that list is that complete? I'm thinking that maybe even beyond the town of Clinton is the Massachusetts Department of Transportation. Their system engineers might have ideas about how to do the traffic engineering system within the town of Clinton, particularly on busy days around our assets.
But to start with this, absolutely. I mean, I don't know if you don't necessarily have them in order.
Well, I believe they're in alphabetical order.
Oh, yeah, because I'm not starting with the Bigelow Library for the baseball field.
Oh, no. I do need to find out what they have available about Fuller Field too, though.
Okay.
Because, there may be a whole lot more information than I've been privy to thus far.
Okay.
Yeah.
I would,
So these are in alphabetical order.
I would maybe go to the town hall and see if there's any bylaws when the Fullers gave the property to the town.
Ooh.
If there's anything in there that makes it so you can't do something like this. So I would
Yeah.
investigate
Hadn't
something
even thought
like
about
that,
that. Thank you
yes.
very much.
Because I believe, the only thing I've been made aware of in the last 3 years is that, we can't lock this field up.
The gates always.
It always has to be open. It has to be accessible to the public at all times.
That was from the family.
That was
Yeah.
from the family when they gifted it to the town. So I don't know if there's anything else in that, because that's all that's been relayed to me. So theoretically, it's probably hearsay, but,
Well, we gotta be careful
I
with
would,
hearsay.
I would look into it. Just saying. You're welcome.
Thank you.
If you can find it, there's an actual act in the legislature from like the 1920s.
Terry, I don't have anything.
Yeah, Terry got it.
I gave
him.
Oh, yeah.
Did you?
He's on the list, historical commission.
Oh, I definitely need that kind of information. So I do need that.
No, I know, that's how he's gonna.
I'm being rude, I'm sorry. I'll get I'm sorry, I don't mean to be rude.
No,
I'm
thank
sorry.
you, Greg.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much
So you'll just keep
for
us
your
updated,
idea. I
right?
will be in touch with town hall regarding any statutory or regulatory
I believe
constraints /
she gave you, Terry and Gano would be invaluable on that as well.
He's
The
very
regular
good.
Terry guy.
Yes, you did, yes,
Yeah.
you did,
Historical
okay.
That's a
Society.
historical.
He's the one to talk to.
Yeah, he's at the
But
Holden
I gotta speak
Memorial.
to them as well to let them know, because I gotta recruit people who wanna get a piece of the action.
Yeah.
to Help out. I won't be able
He
to do all
might
of
be
this
one of
alone.
those people.
He might
He
be.
would
Yeah.
have the most information too, I would think.
Yeah.
Got it.
Thank you, Greg.
You're welcome, you're welcome. Anything
you.
else?
I think that's
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, thank you for coming.
You're welcome, my pleasure, and thank you for allocating me your time. Appreciate your investment.
Any public comment on, in the Fuller Field Commission meeting? No?
Motion to adjourn the Fuller Commission meeting.
All in favor, say aye.
Bye.
We're adjourned.